Once upon a giggly, sun-sparkled morning in the middle of fluffy woods, Go-Go Bunny woke up with a big, bright idea. He wiggled his long ears, stretched his paws, and whispered to himself, "Today, I'll cook the world's biggest, yummiest, fluffiest carrot pie ever." He grabbed his favorite tiny backpack, stuffed it with shiny orange carrots, and bounced down the hill to his best friend's cozy bamboo hut. There, Lalu Panda was painting rainbow bamboo sticks for his garden fence. His paws were covered in splashes of blue, pink, and yellow. "Lalu! Lalu! Stop painting! We have an emergency!" shouted Go-Go Bunny, his nose twitching with excitement. Lalu Panda blinked. "Emergency? Did you lose your carrot again?" Go-Go giggled. "No, silly! We're gonna be master chefs today. We're gonna bake a pie so big, the whole forest will smell it." Lalu Panda remembered last time Go-Go Bunny cooked. They'd ended up with a burnt pancake stuck to the ceiling for 3 days. He sighed, but seeing Go-Go's big hopeful eyes, he couldn't say no. They raced to the sunny kitchen hut, a tiny wooden cottage filled with pots, pans, shiny spoons, and shelves stacked high with colorful ingredients. "Step 1, ingredients!" Go-Go declared, pulling out carrots, bamboo shoots, rainbow jelly beans, fizzy soda, and even some leftover marshmallows they'd hidden last winter. "Are you sure marshmallows belong in a carrot pie?" Lalu asked, poking one into his mouth. "Trust me, master chefs always invent new recipes." Go-Go said proudly, pushing the big mixing bowl towards Lalu. They poured in carrots, jelly beans, marshmallows, and soda, all at once. The bowl burped bubbles and rainbow foam, making them giggle so hard they almost fell over. Next came the mixing. Go-Go held the blender while Lalu poured flour. But the blender had other plans. It started spinning faster and faster until batter sprayed across the walls like fireworks. "Turn it off! Turn it off!" shouted Lalu, slipping on spilled flour as he chased the runaway blender across the floor. Go-Go hopped after it, but it bounced right into the oven door. With a loud clunk, the oven sprang open, and the bowl of gooey batter tumbled inside. They stared at each other. "Maybe it'll bake itself?" Go-Go said with a tiny grin. They tiptoed back and waited. The oven rumbled, the kitchen filled with warm, sweet smells. Lalu started to relax. Maybe, just maybe, they'd done it right this time. But suddenly, poof, the oven hiccuped. Then it whooshed, and finally, boom! Out popped a giant pie balloon, splattering sticky rainbow batter all over the ceiling, the cupboards, and even outside the tiny kitchen windows. A curious squirrel poked its head in, then a fox, then a sleepy bear. Soon all the Fluffy Woods animals were peeking through the windows, giggling at the two gooey chefs. Go-Go and Lalu looked at the mess. Their fur was frosted in pink and green cream, sprinkles stuck to their ears, and they were standing in a puddle of sweet pie filling. Just then, the wise old owl swooped down from the rafters, wiping frosting off his glasses with a tiny wing. "Well, well, well," hooted the owl. "A tasty disaster, I see." Go-Go drooped his long ears. "We just wanted to surprise everyone with the biggest pie ever." Lalu nodded, licking frosting off his paw. "But we made a mess instead." The owl chuckled kindly. But every good chef learns from their messes. Great recipes take care, teamwork, and sometimes a little help from a wise old bird. So all the animals grabbed cloths and brushes and scrubbed the sunny kitchen hut till it sparkled again. Go-Go and Lalu worked the hardest, giggling as they mopped the sticky rainbow splashes and taste-tested what was left of their pie. When they were done, the kitchen was cleaner than ever, and everyone got a tiny piece of the half-baked rainbow carrot pie. Surprisingly, it tasted pretty good, in a weird, fizzy, marshmallowy way. As the sun set behind the fluffy green hills, Go-Go and Lalu stood on the kitchen steps, waving goodbye to their giggling animal friends. They had frosting on their noses and big happy smiles on their faces. "Next time," Go-Go said, grinning at Lalu, "we'll follow a real recipe." Lalu laughed. "Next time, we'll invite Owl to be the chef." They laughed and laughed under the twinkling stars, dreaming of their next big adventure. Because in Fluffy Woods, even a recipe for disaster can cook up the sweetest memories of all. It was a bright, giggly morning in Fluffy Woods. The sun peeked through the leafy treetops and tickled Go-Go Bunny's whiskers until he woke up with a giant, wobbly yawn. He stretched his paws, looked around his tiny burrow, and spotted his secret treasure, a mountain of shiny, crunchy carrots piled high beside his bed. But today, plain old carrots weren't enough for Go-Go Bunny. He wanted something big, something fancy, something so delicious that everyone in Fluffy Woods would line up for a bite. He bounced in excitement and squeaked, "Today, I shall become Chef Go-Go, the king of carrot pie." He grabbed his green backpack, stuffed it with the biggest carrots he could find, and raced down the bumpy trail to his best friend's cozy bamboo hut. There, Lalu Panda was still fast asleep, snoring softly on a soft pile of painted bamboo sticks. Go-Go Bunny knocked on the door. Tap, 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 no answer. He knocked harder. Knock, knock, knock. Lalu rolled over, opened one sleepy eye, and mumbled, "Is it lunchtime already?" "Better!" Go-Go squeaked. "It's pie time. Get up, Master Chef Lalu. We're baking the greatest carrot pie in history." Lalu Panda rubbed his eyes and yawned so wide he almost swallowed a bamboo paintbrush. "But last time we baked, we ended up eating burnt cookies for a week," he whispered. But Go-Go was already hopping in circles. "This time, we'll do it perfectly. Trust me." Moments later, they tiptoed into the sunny kitchen hut. Pots and pans hung from the walls like shiny trophies. The wooden table was piled with bowls, spoons, and a giant mixing pot that looked big enough for Go-Go to jump into, which he almost did. "First, the secret ingredients," Go-Go shouted. He dumped carrots, bamboo shoots, rainbow candies, marshmallows, and even fizzy forest soda into the pot. Lalu Panda blinked. "Are you sure pies need soda?" he asked. "Of course," Go-Go said proudly. "It'll make it extra bouncy." They started to mix and stir. The fizzy soda made the batter bubble and hiss like a giggling volcano. The rainbow candies melted into streaks of pink and blue. Lalu stuck out his tongue to taste it. Sweet, fizzy, and completely weird. Then Go-Go found the blender. "Perfect," he said. He plugged it in, poured the batter inside, and pressed the button. Wah! The blender whirred louder than a thunderstorm. The batter spun so fast it sprayed tiny colorful splashes across the walls. Go-Go and Lalu ducked and giggled as a blob of pink batter landed right on Lalu's nose. Suddenly, the blender shuddered, jumped off the table, and started dancing across the floor like it had its own plan. Go-Go hopped after it. Slip, slide, spin! The blender zoomed under the table, bounced off the cupboard, and crashed into the oven door. Clang! The oven swung open and swallowed the whole mixing pot with a plop. Go-Go and Lalu stared at the oven. The oven stared back. "I think it's cooking itself," Lalu whispered. Go-Go crossed his paws. "Chef's magic," he declared. They sat down on the squeaky wooden stools and waited and sniffed. The kitchen smelled like warm, gooey candy carrots. Lalu's tummy rumbled, Go-Go's whiskers twitched, then rumble, hiss, whoosh, boom! The oven door burst open. Out popped the pie, but not on a plate. The pie had turned into a giant, puffy, rainbow pillow. It bounced once, twice, then it exploded into a million tiny pie bits that rained down like confetti. Fluffy Woods animals poked their heads through the windows. A curious raccoon, a giggling chipmunk, a sleepy bear still in his nightcap. They watched as Go-Go and Lalu got buried under sticky, colorful pie pieces. They peeked out from under the gooey mess, sprinkles in their fur, marshmallow strings on their ears. Go-Go started laughing. Lalu giggled so hard he snorted pie crumbs out of his nose. Through the sticky chaos, wise old owl flapped in from his treetop perch. He landed on the counter, perched calmly, and adjusted his tiny round glasses. "Another gourmet masterpiece, I see," he hooted, his feathers dusted with powdered sugar. Go-Go drooped his long ears. "We wanted to make a big surprise pie for everyone." Lalu sighed. "But we surprised ourselves instead." The owl chuckled. True chefs learn by trying. A pie disaster today means a better pie tomorrow, if you clean up first. So all the animals, the raccoon, the chipmunk, even the sleepy bear, grabbed sponges, mops, and towels. Together they scrubbed batter off the walls, wiped rainbow splatters from the floor, and taste-tested leftover pie crumbs for good measure. When the sunny kitchen hut was shiny and bright again, Gogo and Lalu stood side by side, frosting still stuck to their noses, but smiles even bigger than their giant pie dream. "Next time," said Lalu, poking Gogo's tummy, "we read the recipe first. And next time," Gogo giggled, "we invite wise old owl to be our head chef." The animals cheered, the sun dipped behind the fluffy trees, and in the soft evening light, the kitchen glowed warm and cozy again, ready for tomorrow's big adventure. Because with Gogo Bunny and Lalu Panda, every recipe, even a messy one, cooks up something sweet to remember. Deep inside Fluffy Woods, where the trees hum with birdsong and the flowers giggle in the breeze, Gogo Bunny bounced awake with a brand new idea fizzing inside his fluffy head. He wiggled his pink nose, tapped his tiny paws on the soft, mossy floor, and whispered, "Today's the day. I'm gonna cook something so yummy everyone in Fluffy Woods will hop here for a taste." He peeked out of his burrow and saw the morning sun painting gold stripes through the tall green trees. Without wasting another second, he stuffed his little carrot bag with his crunchiest, brightest orange carrots and zipped off down the leafy trail. His best friend Lalu Panda was dozing on his favorite bamboo bench, holding a half-finished painting of rainbow trees. A soft snore made his round belly rise and fall like a cozy pillow. Gogo Bunny tiptoed up and tickled Lalu's paw with a fresh green leaf. Lalu's eyes popped open. "Who? What? Where?" he mumbled, blinking sleep away. Gogo leaned in close. "Lalu, emergency adventure. Get your apron. We're baking the world's most magical carrot pie today." Lalu sat up slowly. Carrot pie. Again, remember last time? But Gogo was already hopping in circles, so excited he nearly tripped over Lalu's paint pots. "No worries. This time we do it big but neat. No more pancake on the ceiling disasters. Promise." With a sleepy yawn and a gentle smile, Lalu dusted off his apron, grabbed his tiny rolling pin, and followed Gogo Bunny through the flowery meadow to the sunny kitchen hut. The kitchen hut stood at the heart of Fluffy Woods, a tiny cottage with heart-shaped windows, flower boxes full of singing tulips, and a weather vane shaped like a pie on top. Inside, sunlight streamed through the windows and danced across shiny pots, sparkling spoons, and shelves stacked with forest goodies. "Step 1, secret ingredients!" Gogo shouted, bouncing onto the stool. He tossed in carrots, a sprinkle of honey, a handful of rainbow gumdrops, fizzy forest soda, and, just because he liked surprises, a swirl of chocolate syrup. Lalu raised an eyebrow. "Chocolate syrup in carrot pie?" "Trust me," said Gogo, standing proudly with his whisk. "Chef's special touch." They stirred and stirred. The batter bubbled and fizzed. Little splashes landed on the counters like tiny colorful polka dots. Gogo sprinkled more gumdrops. Lalu added a pinch of sugar dust. Everything smelled so sweet that Lalu's tummy growled like a tiny bear cub. Gogo decided the magic touch was a super swirl in the blender. He tipped the bowl in, pushed the biggest button, and the blender sprang to life with a mighty whir! At first they laughed. The bubbles popped like giggling raindrops, but the blender had other plans. It started bouncing, it spun faster, it danced across the counter, splashing batter on the walls, the ceiling, and even onto Lalu's round ears. "Stop it! Catch it!" squeaked Lalu as he chased the rogue blender. Gogo grabbed a spatula and dived, but the blender jumped like a wild frog and landed right next to the oven. Suddenly, the oven door creaked open as if it knew what to do. The blender tumbled inside with a plop, and the oven door slammed shut behind it. Gogo and Lalu froze. The whole kitchen went quiet, except for a soft bubbling sound from inside the oven. Then came a gentle hiss, a tiny rumble, and then, boom! A giant puff of warm, sweet-smelling steam exploded from the oven door. When the smoke cleared, a gigantic wobbly pie balloon floated out. Bouncing gently around the kitchen, it bumped into shelves, it knocked over spoons, it rolled over Lalu's tiny rolling pin and wobbled toward the open window, leaving a gooey trail behind. Outside, a line of curious forest friends peeked in, a hedgehog balancing on tiptoe, a family of chipmunks giggling behind a flower pot, and the sleepy old bear with his cup of mint tea. They all gasped as the pie balloon drifted past them like a sticky parade float. Go-Go Bunny clapped his paws. We did it! The biggest carrot pie in the world! Lalu Panda peeked at the mess inside. We also made the biggest mess! Just then, wise old owl glided down from his tree branch and perched on the windowsill, flapping flour dust off his wings. He peered inside the sticky kitchen, shaking his head with a smile. Little chefs, he hooted kindly, a true recipe isn't just about what you toss in the bowl. It's about care, patience, and cleaning up when things go kaboom. Go-Go and Lalu giggled as they wiped batter off each other's ears. The chipmunk squeaked in with tiny mops. The hedgehog rolled around, scrubbing the floor with his prickly back. Even the sleepy bear lent a giant paw, humming a funny song while he wiped chocolate syrup off the door. When the sunny kitchen hut sparkled like new, Go-Go and Lalu stood together at the window. Their fur was still sticky, but their eyes shone brighter than ever. Next time, Lalu said, bumping Go-Go with his elbow, we read a real recipe first. Next time, Go-Go laughed, we invite Owl to be our taste tester. Outside, the animals shared the little bits of wobbly pie that hadn't floated away. It tasted sweet, weird, and wonderful all at once. The perfect memory of a day when everything went a little bit wrong and turned out just right. And deep in Fluffy Woods, as the stars blinked awake and the kitchen lights twinkled through the windows, two best friends dreamed of tomorrow's adventure, ready to make an even bigger, stickier, happier mess next time. Once upon a time, in the heart of the soft, whispering Fluffy Woods, Go-Go Bunny woke up to the sound of birds singing and sunlight dancing through the leaves. He stretched his long ears, rubbed his sleepy eyes, and sat up with an idea so big it made his paws tingle with excitement. He peeked at his secret stash of shiny orange carrots stacked neatly in his burrow. But today, carrots were not for munching. Today, they were for creating the greatest, fluffiest, most magical pie Fluffy Woods had ever smelled. He zipped up his little backpack, stuffed it with the crunchiest carrots, and bounced off down the winding forest path, leaves crunching softly under his paws. He had only one place to go, Lalu Panda's bright bamboo hut at the edge of the Rainbow Creek. Lalu Panda was still fast asleep, snoring softly in his rocking chair, surrounded by half-painted bamboo sticks and empty honey jars. Go-Go Bunny tapped gently on the window, then a little louder, and finally he pressed his nose flat against the glass and squeaked, "Lalu, wake up! Big day! Big pie!" Lalu's eyes fluttered open. He looked around in confusion, then spotted Go-Go's twitching whiskers. "Pie? Now? I haven't even brushed my teeth!" he mumbled, scratching his round belly. "Yes, now! Adventure waits for no one!" Go-Go giggled. He bounced through the door, dragging Lalu's apron off the hook and tossing it over his sleepy friend's head. Together they marched to the sunny kitchen hut, a tiny wooden cabin hidden under tall oak trees, its chimney puffing out little curly clouds that smelled like cinnamon and sunshine. Inside, bright jars of sprinkles and shiny pots lined the shelves. A big window let in golden morning light that made every spoon and ladle sparkle like treasure. Go-Go cleared his throat. Step 1, we gather secret ingredients. He pulled out carrots, a bottle of fizzy lemon soda, rainbow marshmallows, 2 jars of sticky honey, and a handful of gummy worms for fun. Lalu Panda squinted at the pile. Gummy worms in a pie? Of course, every masterpiece needs a surprise, said Go-Go, puffing up his chest like a tiny bunny king. They tossed everything into a giant mixing bowl. Lalu stirred slowly at first, but Gogo got impatient and grabbed 2 spoons, spinning them so fast the batter bubbled like a volcano. Splashes of rainbow goo splattered across the counter, the floor, and Gogo's long ears. "Faster! Faster!" Gogo squeaked. He jumped onto a stool and plugged in the blender. He poured the sticky mix inside, pressed the biggest button, and stepped back proudly. The blender hummed. Then it rattled. Then it growled. Wah! Before Lalu could stop it, the blender wobbled off the counter. It bounced once, twice, batter spraying the walls like rainbow fireworks, then clattered across the floor in a batter-spraying dance. "Catch it! Catch it!" Lalu squealed, slipping and sliding after the runaway blender. Gogo jumped down, flopped onto the blender, and they both skidded across the sticky floor until they bumped into the oven. Suddenly, the oven door creaked open as if it knew it was time. The blender toppled inside with a wet plop. The oven door slammed shut, and the whole kitchen fell silent except for a tiny bubbling hiss. Gogo and Lalu held their breath. The oven rumbled like a sleepy bear. A soft glow leaked out around the edges. Then, poof! The oven popped open and out rolled a giant pie puff. It wasn't round and neat. It was a giant, jiggly rainbow balloon that bounced around the kitchen like a rubber ball. It knocked over flour jars, toppled stacks of plates, and finally bounced out the window into the sunlit yard. Gogo and Lalu scrambled after it, covered in batter from head to toe. Outside, the animals of Fluffy Woods gathered. A shy deer, 3 giggling hedgehogs, a group of chipmunks, and even sleepy old bear with his mug of tea. They all watched as the wobbly pie balloon floated over the garden, trailing sprinkles like falling stars. Lalu hid his face behind his sticky paws. "This is a disaster!" Gogo peeked through splattered whiskers. "A delicious disaster!" Wise Old Owl flapped down from his branch and perched on the pie balloon, which wobbled under his tiny claws. He pushed up his round glasses and said, "Well, well, cooking chaos again, little chefs." Gogo's ears drooped. Lalu's shoulders sank. "We just wanted everyone to taste something special," Lalu whispered. Old Owl chuckled. One breezy morning in Fluffy Woods, when the dew still clung to the grass like tiny diamonds, Gogo Bunny woke up with a squeal of excitement. He had dreamed all night of a pie so big, so fluffy, and so delicious that every animal in the woods would gather around just to sniff its sweet, magical smell. Gogo hopped out of his burrow, brushed the sleep from his whiskers, and grabbed his tiny red backpack. He filled it with the juiciest carrots he could find in his secret garden patch behind the old willow tree. With his backpack stuffed to the brim, he zipped down the winding forest path, humming a happy tune to himself. At the bend in the trail stood a bamboo hut painted with bright swirls of yellow and blue. Inside, Lalu Panda was curled up in a ball on a pile of soft blankets, snoring so loudly that the bamboo wind chimes above his door rattled in protest. Gogo knocked gently, once, twice, then burst through the door. "Lalu, wake up! Wake up! It's pie day!" he squeaked, bouncing on Lalu's blanket pile like it was a trampoline. Lalu peeked out from under his blanket, his fur ruffled and eyes heavy with sleep. "Pie day? Now? Gogo, remember what happened the last time?" Gogo's ears drooped for half a second as he remembered the great pancake fiasco. The one that left a sticky pancake stuck to Lalu's ceiling for a whole week. But then he puffed up his chest, wagged his paw, and declared, "This time will be different. We're older, smarter, and we have a blender." Lalu groaned, but Gogo's grin was too bright to resist. So Lalu tied on his polka-dotted apron, grabbed his tiny mixing spoon, and together they trotted off to the sunny kitchen hut at the heart of the forest. Inside, the hut glowed with warm morning light. Rows of spice jars lined the wooden shelves. A stack of shiny metal mixing bowls sat ready beside an old oven that puffed a tiny trail of sweet-smelling steam every time it woke up. "Step 1, secret ingredients," Gogo announced, clapping his paws together. He dropped carrots, honeycomb, rainbow gumdrops, and a handful of crunchy cereal into a giant green mixing bowl. Lalu peeked in and scratched his head. "Crunchy cereal in a pie?" Crunchy surprise, said Go-Go, throwing in a splash of fizzy lemonade for good measure. They stirred, they splashed, they giggled as the sticky batter bubbled and popped. Go-Go flicked a spoonful at Lalu by accident. It landed right on his nose. Lalu flicked some back. Splat! Go-Go's floppy ears were soon speckled with rainbow batter dots. Then came the blender. Go-Go plugged it in, poured in the batter, and turned the dial all the way up. Wow! The blender whirred to life so loudly that the kitchen windows rattled. At first it spun calmly, but then it wobbled. It bounced. It jittered across the counter like it had legs. Batter sprayed up in tiny rainbow fireworks. Turn it off! Turn it off! Lalu shouted, reaching for the cord, but the blender wasn't done yet. It danced off the counter, bounced onto the flour sack, rolled across the floor, and slammed straight into the oven door, which popped open as if it had been waiting for its snack. The blender tumbled inside with a final squelch. The oven door snapped shut behind it. Go-Go and Lalu froze, batter dripping from their ears, noses, and paws. The oven hummed. It glowed. It shook just a little. Then, boink, out popped a giant pie bubble, perfectly round and shimmering like a rainbow soap bubble. It floated gently out of the oven, bounced once on the floor, and drifted straight through the open window. Go-Go and Lalu scrambled after it. They squeezed through the window just in time to see their runaway pie drifting over the clover meadow, leaving a trail of sugary sparkles behind. One by one, the woodland animals poked their heads out of bushes, burrows, and tree hollows. A fox family, a hedgehog wearing tiny glasses, 3 giggling raccoons, and even Slowpoke Turtle, who hadn't moved faster than a leaf blowing in the wind in years, all gathered under the floating pie. The pie bounced down, hovered in front of them, and then, splat, popped like a balloon, showering the whole meadow with sweet, sticky pie bits. Gumdrops rained down like candy snow. The raccoons squealed and chased the bouncing gumdrops. The hedgehog rolled through the sticky mess, giggling. Go-Go and Lalu stood in the middle of it all, covered from head to tail in rainbow pie goo. Wise Old Owl swooped down from his tree branch, landing on Go-Go's head with a soft hoot. Well, 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 he said, adjusting his tiny spectacles. Another fine recipe, I see. Go-Go's ears drooped again. It was supposed to be the biggest pie ever. Lalu sighed, licking a gumdrop off his paw. But we made the biggest mess instead. Wise Old Owl chuckled and pecked Go-Go gently on the head. Big dreams sometimes make big messes. But look around, little chefs. You gave everyone a sweet surprise. The foxes were licking pie bits off each other's tails. Slowpoke Turtle was nibbling gumdrops for the first time in years. The raccoons were rolling in leftover pie, feeling like it was a new game. Together, everyone grabbed brushes, buckets of water, and leafy brooms. They scrubbed the sticky meadow clean, giggling and tossing leftover gumdrops into each other's mouths. When the sun dipped low behind the trees, Go-Go and Lalu sat side by side on the old wooden bench in front of the sunny kitchen hut. Their fur was still sticky in spots, and their tummies were full of sweet pie scraps. Next time, Lalu said, leaning his head on Go-Go's shoulder, maybe we just make cookies? Go-Go giggled, his whiskers twitching with another idea. Or maybe we make the world's biggest pancake. And deep in fluffy woods, under a sky turning pink and gold, 2 best friends dreamed of the next adventure they'd cook up. Messes, surprises, giggles and all, deep in the middle of fluffy woods, where the trees sway like dancers and the grass tickles your toes if you stand still too long, Go-Go Bunny woke up with the silliest grin on his face. He stretched his paws to the sky, yawned so wide that a butterfly almost flew right in, and declared to the morning sun, "Today, I'm going to bake a pie so big the clouds will want a slice." He bounced around his burrow, grabbing his best and brightest carrots, the ones he'd been saving for a special day. He packed them neatly into his blue carrot satchel, zipped it up tight, and hopped out the door without even brushing his whiskers. At the edge of fluffy woods, by the babbling clover creek, stood a round, cozy bamboo hut with colorful pinwheels spinning in the breeze. That was Lalu Panda's home, part workshop, part nap spot, part snack factory. Inside, Lalu Panda was exactly where Gogo expected him to be, curled up on a pile of fluffy pillows, hugging a tiny stuffed honey pot, snoring so happily that the wind chimes on the porch jingled with each breath. Gogo Bunny tapped on the window. Nothing. He knocked on the door. Nothing. He pressed his nose against the glass and squeaked, "Lalu, wake up! Emergency pie plan!" A single sleepy eye popped open. "Pie plan?" Lalu murmured, rubbing his eyes with his soft paws. "Not again, Gogo! Last time you made a pancake so big it blocked my door for 2 days!" Gogo's nose twitched with excitement. "Trust me, this time I have a real plan. No pancake disasters, just one huge, perfect, delicious carrot pie." Lalu yawned, rolled off his pillow mountain, and found his polka dot apron buried under a pile of coloring books. He tied it around his round belly and waddled out the door with Gogo bouncing circles around him. Together they skipped along the winding path to the sunny kitchen hut. A tiny wooden cottage hidden under an old willow tree, with window boxes bursting with singing sunflowers and a crooked chimney puffing out cinnamon-scented smoke. Inside, the kitchen smelled like warm cookies, old recipes, and a little bit of adventure waiting to happen. Gogo spread his carrots out on the counter like they were treasure. Lalu opened the cupboard and found honey jars, crunchy rainbow cereal, a bottle of fizzy orange soda, and a small bag of gummy bears they'd hidden from the chipmunks last winter. "Gummy bears? Really?" Lalu asked. "Surprise ingredient," Gogo said proudly. "Every legendary pie needs a surprise." They chopped, stirred, sprinkled, and giggled. The mixing bowl wobbled with every scoop of carrot mash. Lalu added a swirl of honey. Gogo dumped the gummy bears in with a splash of fizzy soda that made the batter hiss and pop like fireworks. Lalu lifted a spoon to taste. Gogo flicked batter at him first. It splattered on Lalu's ear. Lalu flicked some back. Soon both of them were covered in sticky rainbow specks, laughing so hard that they forgot the bowl was still bubbling on the counter. Then came the blender. Gogo plugged it in, pointed dramatically like a brave ship captain, and shouted, "Full speed ahead!" He tipped the wobbly batter in and slammed the big blue button. At first it purred like a kitten, then it roared like a tiny pie dragon. The blender rattled, hiccuped, and spat batter across the kitchen like a paint splatter cannon. Lalu ducked under the table. Gogo jumped on the counter to wrestle the lid back on, but the blender had other plans. It bounced once, twice, and leapt off the counter, landing right in front of the old oven. With a soft creak, the oven door swung open like it was saying, "Come on in, silly blender." The blender rolled inside with a squelchy plop. The door slammed shut behind it, and the kitchen went quiet, except for the soft bubbling hiss coming from inside the oven. Gogo peeked through the oven window. Lalu crawled out from under the table, his fur sticky with rainbow batter streaks. They waited. The oven hummed. It rattled. It hiccuped. Then, poof! The door popped open and out floated a pie. So round and wobbly it looked like a giant balloon.